everybody, it's Angelique coming to you live from the Shoe Chip Art Studio in fabulous downtown Las Vegas. Woo woo! Happy Thanksgiving. Today is November, 23rd. So I'm doing this from my studio live and I will upload it to YouTube. And this is my Thanksgiving painting, Snoopy Thanksgiving. I just love Snoopy, don't y'all? I am drinking today out of my favorite Annie Lee, that's my favorite artist, Annie Lee mug, because it's cold today in Las Vegas. I'm still trying to warm up today, so not drinking wine, not drinking my traditional Chardonnay as I paint today. I am drinking coffee, black coffee, because I just love the taste of coffee too, as well as wine. So anyway, I hope you have your favorite drink and your favorite snacks and your paints together. And you're going to take off all the lids and tape and all that stuff off your paints. You're going to get your water cup halfway full of water. You have probably 3 paint brushes. I'm not sure. You might have 2 or 3, but you're going to have a sponge brush, a flat brush, and then a detail brush. Maybe. Not real sure if you're going to have 3 or not. If you don't, you're just going to work with that other flat brush a little bit more. You have a blue paper, highly absorbent blue paper towel, and you have an apron that fully opens up and goes over your head. Let me show you, because some people don't get this. You might have to put a little bit of water on your fingertips. It's going to fully open up, and it's going to go over your head and tie in the back to protect your clothing and the carpet from the acrylic paints. We always paint with acrylic paints. They wash very easily off your fingers, not so easily out of your clothes or the carpet. So if you still have the bag that your kit came in, you can use that to protect the floor or the surface that you're painting on. I'm looking around because I want to see if I have one of the easel backs close to me, and I don't, so that I can show you how the easel back works in the front, on the back. But you just squeeze that, you know what, hold on. I'm going to go get one so I can show you, okay? Real quick, I don't usually go off screen, but I think it's important because I want you to know how to use it. Okay? So this is the easel back that is on the back of your canvas. You squeeze the sides up. It's stapled. And you can take it off when you're painting. Well, you probably do want to take it off when your painting is complete, so that you can hang it up on the wall. So the easel back is on like this, right? And you're going to push the flat down so it secures in place like that, okay? So your easel is your canvas. This is the canvas. This is the easel. So your canvas is going to sit up like on this, so on the tabletop, like you have a real life easel. So it's a really cool, convenient way for you to paint, or you can always just lay it flat if you want. So totally up to you. So let's get into the painting of the the Thanksgiving beagle, Snoopy. Snoopy's supposed to be a beagle. For those of you who know me, you know I love beagles. I grew up with beagles. Right now I have 2 rescues because I lost my beagle on Mother's Day of this year. He was old. So I really love Snoopy, and I just thought this would be fun. My daughter picked this out because I wanted to pick something that everybody in the family could paint on Thanksgiving. So eating and sleeping and drinking and painting, right? On Thanksgiving. That could be the new tradition. Okay, so let's get into it. So I'm going to put Snoopy down there. You have a reference photo. I'll be looking at the painting itself to go along to paint. This is going to be a short tutorial. And the reason why this is going to be a short tutorial is because it is so traced out for you. It is really just a matter of like a paint by numbers kind of thing. I want to set my canvas up a little bit differently because I got to look at this painting because I don't have a reference photo for myself. So I'm going to put it over to the side so I can look at it better, get a better view of it. Okay. So what I'm really going to focus on this Snoopy painting is just painting the background for you. And once you get the background done, I think everything else is kind of like a paint by numbers. And what I mean by that, it's like coloring, but you're going to be using your paintbrush, okay? So I'm going to take you about 50% maybe through this painting. The first thing that we're going to do, like we always do, we're going to take this sponge brush, right? We're going to put a light coat of water on the canvas. Don't worry about washing away your trace lines. I mean, don't put a lot of water on the trace lines, but don't worry about washing them away. I got some really dark trace lines on this one for you because I didn't want it, well, usually I don't like outlining stuff because I don't want it to look like a coloring book, but it's Snoopy. So there are some really hard black lines around just about everything. So I thought it'd be good if I traced it like this for you all. It takes a little bit of the intimidation factor away too, right? On Thanksgiving, while you're eating and drinking, you don't want to be stressed out about your painting. I just want you to relax and have a good time. So I hope kids are painting this and families are painting it. And please, please, please send me your pictures. That is the part that fills my spirit so much from doing this, okay? So anyway, okay, light coat of water. If you put too much water, because we don't want it drippy, you're just going to take your paper towel and kind of dry it off a little bit. Now, if you look at the reference photo, it's kind of broken up into 3 sections. There's like orange, yellow, and then brown, right? Like kind of like in thirds. So what I want to do is I kind of want to break the canvas up a little bit into thirds. And we're going to paint the whole background first. We're going to paint the whole background yellow. And if you look at your color palette, you don't have orange. I don't think I gave you orange. If I gave you orange, you can use orange. If I didn't give you orange, we're going to make orange. I think we're going to make orange. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to paint the whole background yellow, okay? And if you're confused or don't know what I'm talking about, just kind of follow along with me. And I'm using my sponge brush here. And what I'm going to do is going to get right on top of the lines. I'm going to outline it a little bit. Now, if this is hard for you, you can use the other brush, the smaller brush, and outline it first. But it's not hard for me. But if it's hard for you, you can use this little brush right here. Don't put any water on it, not necessary. And you can outline everything with that brush first, okay? Totally up to you how you're going to want to do it. I'm going to use the sponge brush because I'm using the very tip of the brush, outlining everything. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the entire background in yellow. Alright, so I'm going to play a little nondescript music, unfortunately. I want to play like the Charlie Brown, like fun music, but I can't because they'll tag my video and take it down. So I have to find music that they're not going to do that. So just a little music. And just follow along with me. Okay? Painting the background yellow. And I'm going to paint my woodstock entirely yellow. I'm even painting the sides of my canvas so I won't need a frame. Okay, and I'm using a sponge brush to paint everything yellow. Gotta put my phone on Do Not Disturb because I don't want my phone to ring while I'm painting, because that would be really bad, right? Look, just with that coat of yellow, Woodstock's done. He's all finished. Up to you how you want the brush strokes to go. I recommend the brush strokes actually going horizontally. Don't paint the doghouse. Yep, that's going to be red. I'm going kind of fast. And this is YouTube or Facebook, whatever you're watching me on. You're watching a replay. So guess what? If I'm going too fast, what are you going to do? You're going to pause me. Okay? That's what you're going to do. And you're going to let everybody get caught up, and then you're going to turn me back on again. Okay? So I'm trying to really paint this with horizontal brush strokes. I don't have too much paint on my brush. Not too much paint at all. layer them. They're very easy medium to paint with. So if you're using that other brush, I'd recommend switching to the sponge brush so you can get better coverage, because you'll be all day painting with that little brush. Just kind of switch it up a little bit. So basically we're going to paint everything and then we're going to outline it with black. Alright, so background's all yellow. Now, if we look at the reference photo there, about a third of it is, at the top is orange, the middle part is yellow, and about a third of it at the bottom is brown, right? The brown really starts underneath the doggy house there, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the top part orange, and the orange part stops a little bit past the roof of the little doggy house, right? So this is where our orange is going to stop, and I'm just going to go into my red paint. I'm not even going to wash off my paintbrush. I'm just going to kind of mark it for myself right there. That's where that orange is going to kind of start blending a little bit in there. So if you don't have orange, because I haven't decided yet if I'm going to give you orange or not, we're going to make orange. We're going to put a little bit of red in one corner, and we're going to put a little bit of yellow in another corner. And then I'm going to take my paintbrush here, and I'm going to put a little bit of, tiny bit of red in with that yellow. Depends on how vibrant you want the orange to be. You might want to put more yellow in it, and you just kind of get the desired color that you want. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add it at the top. And I want it to be a little bit more orange, so I'm adding more red, and then I'm adding more yellow. And then we're going to actually put a little bit of water in it too, to get the desired hue of orange that you like. So, okay, so... And I'm using the sponge brush, and I made orange. I have to hold on to my canvas before it falls on the floor. I want to blend that red in a little bit there. Don't want to put that orange on my wood stock, okay? And if I do, we're just going to go over it later. So, even going to do it on the sides here. There's my orange. And again, you might have orange in your kit. If you have orange in your kit, just use the orange. If you don't have the orange, you're going to make the orange, okay? Now, I am going to go over woodstock a little bit. I changed my mind just a little bit because I want it to blend in. And we're going to paint over him a little bit later. But just a little lightly blend in. I don't want it to stop so much. We're going to paint over him later, okay? So if you look at your reference photo, the orange kind of drags down, and it's fine if you go over his hat, because guess what? We're going to paint his hat black. So it's fine. We're going to paint the doghouse red. So we want to blend it in here. And I'm still using the sponge brush. Not very much paint on my brush, okay? I'm dragging it, and I want horizontal brush strokes, and I kind of want it to blend in. See that? Just dragging it, dragging it, dragging it, dragging it, dragging it. Then underneath the doghouse is where brown starts, right? I am going to rest my sponge brush in my tray right here. Then I'm going to take this flat tip brush. I'm swishing it around in my water a little bit. And I am going to take a little bit of brown paint right underneath the doghouse, just a tiny bit.
And I'm going to start blending it a little bit. Now, I'm going to make this little imaginary line going across here. Just kind of dragging it through. And then guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to make it a little bit darker at the bottom. More of a solid brown at the bottom. Okay? Solid brown at the bottom. So I dragged it, and then at the bottom, I want to put like a solid line. A little bit more solid. It's not going to be opaque, meaning no light or no yellow coming through, but it's going to be more look like the earth. Okay? I'm doing the sides too. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that sponge brush. I'm going to rest this brush now. I'm resting that in my water cup, okay? Because acrylic paints dry really fast. I'm going to go back to my sponge brush, even though it has orange on it. I almost knocked my stuff over. Even though it has orange on it. And I'm going to use it, using my sponge brush and maybe a little bit of water. And I'm going to blend all this all the way down. I'm almost kind of like I'm blending it in, kind of rubbing it in, actually. Rubbing it into the canvas. Now Snoopy is white, so I'm really trying not to get too much of that brown on him. Even though we can paint the white over it. His jacket is black, so I can get a little bit of it on the jacket, right? So blending. Let's just say you don't like the way it's blending. Go into your yellow paint. Use a little bit of water. A little tiny bit of water on your brush, and you'll be able to blend it out a little bit better, okay? Just rub the paint into the canvas. I don't want this hard line up here, so I'm just kind of softening it a little bit. Okay? Cool. Now this part up top should be dry. So what I'm going to do is I want to paint my wood stock a little bit better. So I'm going to go into my yellow paint, and I'm going to get rid of that orange that showed up there. And I'm going to paint wood stock in yellow. Okay. Getting all the orange off of them. Might take a couple coats. You might have to do it a little thicker than usual. But I don't want them to be orange. I want them to be yellow. You might even want to put a little bit of white on them. I'm putting a little bit of white in my mixing tray, like this. Just a little dot of white to brighten up the yellow. So a little bit of white. Just to brighten up the yellow a little bit. If you're having a hard time getting the orange out, just add a little bit of white paint. And he looks a little bit brighter. Don't worry about losing those details. We're going to go over everything in black. When you're all done, okay, you're going to go over everything in black. So, if you're not happy about the way it blended, work on it a little bit. Work on it a little bit, okay? All right, so where are we at now? Brown. Let's see, what color are we going to do next? I think we're going to do red next. Then we're going to do the brown. Yeah, let's do red next. Since I have a little bit of red still on my mixing tray for when I was making orange, I'm just going to go into that red right there. Now, as we paint each object, this is all we do. Outline it. And then we paint it in, okay? Outline it and paint it in. So let's spend a little time doing that. Painting in the doghouse and then painting in anything else that's red? No, not really. Actually, there's some leaves in the grass that are red. So we'll do that too. If you're confused, just follow along with me. Painting in the doggy house. Now you might have to put 2 coats on the doghouse. I switched it up. I was painting just horizontal brush strokes, and now I'm doing vertical brush strokes. It's totally up to you. Doesn't really matter too much because we're not trying to get any specific texture in the doghouse. So we're going to let that dry. When you get the quality of red that you want, that's when you're going to add the black highlights to it, okay? Or the black trace lines to it. I have a little gap of white right there that I don't like, so I'm going to swish my brush out in the water, and I'm going to wipe it off with my paper towel, and I'm going to close the gap of that white right there. I don't want that white to be showing through there. Okay? Every time you switch colors, you swish it around the water and wipe off on your paper towel, right? So basically, I'm going to use the doghouse as an example. Once you paint something on your painting, we're going to paint the whole thing in, and then we're going to go over the black lines. And I always say I don't want it to look like a coloring book, but this time I want it to look like a coloring book. Alright? So the next color I'm going to do is brown. I'm swishing the brush around in my water. Take the sponge brush out of it. Swish your brush around in the water. Wipe it off on your paper towel. Doing brown next. What's brown? This part of his hat's brown. Okay. Turkey is brown. I'm just using a little bit of paint. The turkey also has a little bit of orange in it too. So you can mix up some orange if you have some left. At this point, see, it's just like coloring, but we're using a paintbrush. I'm gonna put a little bit of orange in the turkey, make it look like golden brown. How'd your turkey turn out today? All I did was a turkey breast and ham and barbecue. Okay, I bought the barbecue. The barbecue was for me because I wanted to eat something that I didn't cook. So I'm gonna put a little bit of orange in the turkey. I don't know if you can see that really good. I also have a lot of white space around this turkey, so I'm going back into my orange and I'm filling in on the turkey where it should have been yellow. I don't want any white space there, okay? Okay? I love it because he's already coming to life. What else is brown? His little vest is brown. So how far is it? Okay, so his little vest is brown. He's so cute. And next Thanksgiving, you can be able to hang up your Snoopy painting as one of your decorations from Thanksgiving 2020. Right? Or maybe you'll paint it again and see how good you get, because that's how you get better at painting or anything, right? You keep doing it! I am self-taught. I love to tell everybody that. Cartoons are absolutely my favorite thing. I can't paint anything like that looks realistic. Every time I start painting something that looks realistic, it ends up looking like a cartoon. So I'm really excited about Snoopy today. Alright, so what other colors do we have? Let's do black. Okay? So I'm going to take black, really strong color. That's I usually wait for black last. I'm going to fill in his tuxedo jacket here. It's got tails on it. Snoopy sharp for Thanksgiving. So outline it, and then I'm going to paint that in. And I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to do his black jacket, and I'm going to do his hat, okay? So just follow along with me. Fun to paint his nose, but it was. Use the corner of your paintbrush to paint the nose, or you can use that little tiny paintbrush that you got for a little bit of the detail work, okay? So what we're going to do now is, I have black on my paintbrush right now. I'm going to use this time to kind of outline my doghouse a little bit, using the tip of my paintbrush, because the doghouse should be dry by now. Just using the very, very tip of my paintbrush. Not too much black paint on there. I'm just going over all these little black lines here, okay? Also going to take a little tiny, tiny bit of paint. If if you look at your reference photo, there's little lines of grass. I'm just using the corner of my paintbrush to do this. And they look like V's. And they're just kind of randomly placed. Okay? I'm not even trying to put them in the same spot. And if you also look at your reference photo, there's a little motion lines like Charles Schultz always does. Because Snoopy's on the go here. He's moving with this turkey. So you can use a pencil if you have one. I don't think I put chalk in your kit. But just kind of trust yourself to put some some little motion lines on his feet, on the front and the back. So I'm just gonna do a couple little quick motions like that. If you don't trust yourself, get a pencil or do it in white paint and then go over it in black paint, okay? So, let's see here. There's also another little line there. I'm looking at my reference photo a little bit. All right. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I am going to make a little bit of gray paint. I still have a little bit of white in my tray. I'm going to lift a little bit of black and I'm going to mix it together to make gray. And that gray is going to be kind of like the pan for that the turkey is resting on. It's just kind of a straight line, kind of hard for me to do because I'm at an angle, but it doesn't even have to be that straight, really. All right. I got gray on my brush now. I'm swishing around in the water. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back into my yellow paint. And I'm going to paint in the buckle on there, okay? Try not to get the black mixed up in there. And then I'm also going to paint this oven mitts there that are orange. So if you still have orange in your tray, you can use that, or you can mix up some orange using yellow and red, right? Right? Okay, so I'm taking a little bit of yellow and I'm taking a little bit of orange, just like we did when we were at the very beginning. I got a little black on my brush, so I don't want that black in there, so I'm having mixing again. Then you outline these little oven mitts and paint them in. If you want them to be more red, more orangey, add a little bit more red to your, more orange. Which I want mine to be a little bit more orange, so I put a little bit more red in it. Outline first, paint them in. Now, the weirdest thing, you probably don't think that we paint the white, but we do. Painting the white helps clean up the lines a little bit, okay? So, but you gotta make sure, even though your water is funky, that's a technical term, it doesn't matter. Just push it around in there, wipe it off good on your paper towel, and then we're gonna clean up Snoopy a little bit. Just add a little white paint here and there if you wanted to change the shape of that design you had on his ear. If you put a little bit too much yellow and it got inside of the Snoopy because he's white, let's paint over all that yellow. Okay? But his arms, oops, I had to look and see if his arms are white. Alright? And if you didn't notice, there's a few little reflection lines in his hat. My brush is really dry, just a tiny, tiny bit of white paint. And if you put too much, just go over it in black, okay? Guess what? We're almost done. I need you to take a really, really good look at your reference photo. And I need you to look at the turkey And you just kind of freehand this, little dots of, little brush strokes of greenery for the turkey. I'm just making V's with my paintbrush. And then I'm swishing around in the water. Well, actually I'm not going to do that. Since I've used green right there, I'm going to stick with green. And if you look in the ground, there's like leaves. And they're just little brush strokes of green. I'm just going to put, now this is all dry now because of the way we did our painting. I'm not even trying to follow the reference photo. I'm just putting a little green in there. Then I'm going to go into my red and add the cranberries that are on the turkey. Right? And then I'm going to put a little bit of red in the grass for some little fallen leaves, okay? All right? Look at Snoopy, how he's coming together. Doesn't he just make you happy? It's just something about Snoopy. I'm going to put a little bit more black here. So take a look at your painting with your artist eye. Filling in his eye there. And see what you need to add a little bit more black or whatever you need to do there. There's also some little lines on his oven mitt. Just 3 little short lines. His oven mitt wasn't quite dry. Make sure yours is dry before you do that. Okay, so you have a little tiny brush, or you can use the same flat tip brush to do all the outlines of everything. So you need to take a look at everything. So look at the doggy house. Is there any other detail lines? Look at Woodstock. Is there any other detail lines? Of course there are. So I'm taking that little tiny brush, the smaller brush that you got, and I'm going over the trace lines. And look how Woodstock comes to life. He's kind of drawn kind of messy anyway, so that's just how Woodstock is drawn, which is kind of funny in just itself, isn't it? This little simple design makes people so happy. So I'm doing this with my little detail brush. If you do something that you don't like, wait till it dries, wipe it over it, and then fill it back in again. Now all these lines on Snoopy, I can do it with this brush or I can do it with the other brush, whatever you feel comfortable with. But look at each part of Snoopy. I'm taking that tiny brush and I'm outlining them a little bit more. You might want your Snoopy to look a little bit more abstract. Maybe you don't want all those hard lines. You don't have to, it's yours. Kind of have to freehand how his tuxedo jacket or cloak, actually it's like a cloak, right, is on him. So you're going to freehand that, and you're going to freehand the collar on his shirt. Again, I have that little tiny paintbrush, and I'm just outlining everything. So when everything dries, just outline everything. And guess what? That's it. Snoopy is done. And take a look at each, like his face, you're going to outline that a little better. This buckle right here, you're going to outline a little better. His hat, you're going to make a little bit thicker on the brim, right? So you go through all the details. Usually we use white paint last, but this painting, we're using black last and outlining everything. Even down to the little shadows on the ground and where his feet rest. Don't forget that when you're working on your painting, okay? I've taken you about, and I just used a little tiny brush and did some horizontal lines under his feet. I have taken you about 90% through this painting. You are on your own. Happy, happy, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you have fun with your families painting this. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, please. Or follow me on Facebook under my name, Angelique Daniels, or on Instagram, the Shoe Chick Art Studio. But somehow you can share your paintings with me at angeliquepaints@gmail.com. All that information is on that little flyer that's included in your paint kit. It really, really makes me so happy when you share your paintings with me. Okay, please. Thank you so much. Have a happy, happy, happy Thanksgiving. Don't eat and drink too much. Well, only if it makes you happy. Thanks. Bye-bye.